Now it is my pleasure to introduce Michael Strunk. He's from the Center of Innovative Teaching and Learning. He is in his role as an instructional support specialist. He provides support for Blackboard and a range of technology tools that are used by faculty in all disciplines across NIU. He has extensive experience teaching. He's worked in higher education large event services and has worked in television production. Please join me in welcoming our presenter, Mike Strunk, and share an emoji in the chat box to welcome him. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Yvonne.
You're welcome.
Hi, and welcome to Video on a Budget. I'm Mike, and I'm going to be your guide today as we explore some options regarding cameras, some lighting techniques, how to capture good sound. We will also be offering some tips on shot composition and a few tips for shooting video that will hopefully save you a little time in the editing room when it comes to that. We will also give you some time to shoot your own video and show you how to upload it to Kaltura. And then we'll wrap things up with a quick discussion about how things went. But I'm coming to you from my backyard to show you just how easy it is to shoot an introductory video. And without even saying anything, you've already learned a lot about me, right? 1, I'm a Bears fan. 2, I'm a gardener. All right, give me just a second to get my my slide deck up here. But I'd like to thank you all for joining me. There are probably a couple other things you learned about me watching that video. One is that I have grown a beard since COVID started. All right, here we go. I can't. There it is. Okay. All right. So, as I said today, we're going to start out first by talking about cameras. Most of you should have access to a, let me move on here. Most of you probably have access to a smartphone. They are pretty much ubiquitous now. Everybody's got one. They have a camera that is pretty easy to use. But there are also other alternatives. You could use, most tablets today have cameras built in as well. You could also use your webcam. Now, some videos, right, you don't necessarily have to go on location. You might be sitting at your desk. So if you've got a laptop, you've probably got a webcam included. There's also a GoPro as an option, or some of the more fancy options there at the top. You see they have both a digital SLR and a digital video camera. Those are a little higher end options. If you have one of those lying around, I would say great, use it. But honestly, for what we're going to be doing today, and for really the purposes of creating just quick, short videos, your smartphone is really good enough. One thing I will say is make sure you are recording digitally. If you've got an old VHS camera lying around, don't use that because that is going to cause you headaches. Just make sure that you've recorded it digitally. It makes it a seamless upload and editing. Everything's done digitally. So just make sure that initially you are recording digitally, which if you're doing it on a smartphone or a computer, you are, so you're good. All right, one thing about your camera is you need to stabilize it. Shaky video can be very distracting, makes it hard to see details, and just as someone who used to do this professionally, it bothers me. It's very easy to set up a tripod or stabilize your camera. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on it, right? You can buy a lightweight tripod for about $20, which is pretty cheap. I also have a Gorilla Pod that I got for my phone, which is awesome because that thing is allows you to, it's got flexible legs, so it allows you to, say, wrap it around a branch, or you can adjust the legs so that if it's an uneven surface, it will be stable. The one I have also has magnetic feet, which is nice because it keeps things from moving around. But you can go too, just use a phone holder or a tablet stand that will hold your phone. Okay. If you want to get really fancy, they have these handheld gimbals, which you see down there on the bottom left. Those run around $100, and I wouldn't recommend you buy one just for your short introductory videos. But if you start serious about it, it may be something you want to invest in, because it is a motion stabilizer. So you can hold it in your hand and it steadies out your video. It kind of works like a mini Steadicam in a way. Right, and then you have your DIY options, which I put a little asterisk there because I'm showing you duct tape, and I want to make sure that you're careful when you use it. Duct tape is great, right? You can fix pretty much anything with it. You can create anything with it, but it's also very sticky. So you're not going to want to be sticking it to your phone. It might end up leaving some residue. But if you, say, are at the dollar store, pick up a cheap phone case that you can put your phone in, duct tape away. I also made just a quick little phone holder out of a cereal box, simply by cutting out a part of it, folding it over, and creating a little groove for it to sit in. It is not the most stable, but it works. The point here is that you don't have to spend a lot of money to stabilize your camera, and it really does make a big difference in your video. All right, next I want to talk about light. And your camera is a light gathering device. So your light sources are going to make a big difference in how your video looks. Okay, natural light, sunlight is awesome, but it can create some harsh shadows. So you need to be a little careful when you're using it. It's best, if you can, to find shady spots or shoot on cloudy days. The video I shot outside yesterday. It was very sunny, but I was on my back porch. I have like a sunshade that covers my back porch, so I was able to, have a nice, well-lit video, but avoid the harsh shadows. So something just to think about. Now with artificial lights, right? You're talking our LEDs, fluorescents, halogens, and whatnot. They sometimes, or you can use pretty much anything, right? I have used lamps sitting in my house. I have this old crazy floor lamp that has these 5 different arms, all with different lights. I've used that for shooting video. It's a great light to use. I have a couple of clamp lights that I just picked up at the hardware store. All that is just a light. You screw a light bulb into it. It's got a small reflector shield, and it has a clamp, so you can put it all over the place. You can put it in different locations. I've used those quite a bit. So really, you can be pretty creative. Any light will do, but I would warn you that sometimes when you mix natural and artificial light, it can tint your video a little bit. The reason for that is that the artificial and natural light have different temperatures, and so it does affect your video. Generally, it's not a problem especially if one type of light is dominating, it won't be a problem. But if you're, say, shooting inside and using artificial light and you have a window open too, you may want to just draw the shade on that window just to sort of just to make sure that you're all using light that's all at the same temperature, I should say. That'll just make your video a little better. Okay. When you are setting up for lighting, there are a couple of, we have our 2-point technique, which essentially is just 2 artificial lights, right? You put them off to either side of the subject. You use 2 lights, right? One a key and one a fill. The reason for this is to avoid shadows. I mentioned that if you're out in the sunshine, that can create harsh shadows. The same thing can happen if you're using just 1 light source, because what that does is it creates some pretty harsh shadows. So by using the fill light, it will reduce those shadows and just make it look better. Also have a 3-point technique. All this does, it's the same thing, but it just adds a backlight. This is not strictly necessary, but it is nice, especially if you are, because what it does is it helps pull your subject kind of off the background. Especially if you are on, say, a black background and the person you are shooting has dark hair, that may fade into the background. So by using a backlight, it just sort of gives a little bit of a halo effect, just pulls people off that background, makes it a little better. Now, when you're out there, you know, especially when you're shooting these quick, simple videos, you're not going to be using a lot of time to set up different lights and get your lighting all perfect, right? The reason I'm showing you this is just so you can kind of be aware of the light, right? And do your best to sort of use it effectively, right? It's not going to be perfect, but you know, just having a little knowledge goes a long way. Okay, next, I want to talk quickly about sound. Now, sound really does add richness and realism to your video. Okay, it sort of fills in all the gaps, right? We've all been at the movie theater and you can hear a car driving up before it shows up on the screen, right? These are ways we use sound, okay? When you are out shooting, it is important to try to get good sound. Unfortunately, the microphones on smartphones and on laptop computers are not the best. When I shot my video, I did use a very cheap lavalier microphone. I think it was like $10 to $15. But what that does is, you may have noticed I had the lav mic sitting on my shirt. By using that microphone, what it does is it allows me to come through more clearly, and it does a little bit of the background noise as well. Like when I was shooting that video yesterday, I did my first take, stopped, and about the time I was starting to do my second take, my neighbor's dog started barking, right? Well, when that dog started barking, she got the rest of the dogs in the neighborhood going. So I kind of had to I just waited, right? I had to wait about 15 minutes for all my neighborhood dogs to calm down. And then I shot my video, okay? A couple other causes of background noise might be like busy streets. Windy days are notorious because what it does is it sends wind across the microphone, which creates a lot of noise. You can mitigate that by using a pop filter or what they call a dead rat, which is like a big fuzzy thing that goes over your microphone. And the final tip I want to give you on sound is when you're out recording, it's usually a good idea just to get about 10 or 15 seconds of ambient sound. Now, what I mean by that is just turn on your camera, let it roll, don't say anything, just let it record sound. Okay, this is for use later in editing, and you won't need it today, so don't worry about doing it today, but keep it in mind for the future. Because sometimes when you're shooting video and you're cutting it together, you have some extraneous sounds that you need to cut out. But if you just cut sound completely out of a video, it's weird. It's something you notice. So having a little bit of ambient sound that you can then layer in to sort of smooth over that spot makes a huge difference. As I said, for what you're going to be doing today, not important, but something to think about for down the road. All right, now I'd like to talk just about a few basic tips and techniques for shooting video. And then we'll quickly run over loading it to Kaltura and hopefully turn you out so you can shoot your own video. All right, so a few things, right? There are 3 basic shots. You have the wide shot, you have the medium shot, and you have the tight shot or the close-up, okay? The wide shot you use to set your scene, establish the action, right? If you watch TV, you probably, any cop show, right? You see when they fade in, right, you see the outside of the precinct, then they will move into sort of a medium shot, right, where maybe it shows the detective room or the thing, and then they'll move in tight, right, into the particular detective who's on the phone with somebody or whatever, right? What this does is it draws the viewer into the action, okay? Our medium shots are great. You know, you'll use a lot of them because you can include a lot of information in there, and then you supplement that by with the close-ups, right? You get in tight to show the details. Oh, did I lose my connection? All right, am I back?
You're back.
Okay, good. So just keep your shots in mind. And this rule of thirds technique over here on the right is probably the simplest and most effective technique you can use for composing your shots, right? It's simple, it's easy. All you have to do is sort of imagine like a tic-tac-toe grid or third lines running through your frame. And then you want to place important items either at the intersection points or on those lines. Now, you don't have to do this, okay? But when you do this, it just makes for a more compelling image. It's just more visually interesting, okay? And as I said, it is a very simple technique. It doesn't take a lot of effort on your part. Something, again, just to keep in mind. Okay, finally, a couple of final tips when you're out shooting. When you set up your camera, think wide, medium, and tight every time, okay? As long as you've set up your camera, go ahead and take that shot, all right? Now, you do want to avoid getting too much stuff, but you also don't want to have, a shortage of video or shots that you can use, okay? Because one thing about video, right, especially it's as we go along, right, our video is getting a lot tighter, right? If you watch old movies, you'll see that they have very long times, long drawn out shots, right? That wouldn't fly today. People don't like that. People want you to cut to what's next, right? So having some extra video helps you to cut shorter shots together, which keeps the pace up, keeps people interested, keeps them moving through the video. Another good habit to be in is always shoot a minimum of 10 seconds every time you take a shot. The reason for this is because when it comes to editing, you may need a little bit at the beginning or the end in order to fade in or fade out or dissolve, something like that. You may want to be doing kind of what they call a natural sound bridge, whereas you will have sound from the previous scene and then you'll start showing the new shot just to move people in. So always just count to 10. The worst thing is to you're cutting your video together and you realize you just don't have enough footage. So 10 seconds is usually good. That should be plenty for what you need. All right. Always let the video run for a few seconds before you start talking, because that just ensures, again, that you have time to fade in if you need to, or put something in front of that. It also ensures that it's up and running and working. You don't want to cut off the very beginning of what you're saying just because you didn't wait a couple seconds. And if you have time, this is a habit I got into, was just shooting a couple of extra close-ups, because the wider shots and the medium shots do convey a lot of information, but the close-ups are very detail oriented, so you may want to show specific details, so then get those extra shots. And as I said, always please stabilize the head camera. All right, now that's really basically all you need to know, other than this, okay? This is DeKalb, right? You are not in Hollywood. You are not Catherine Bigelow, right? Steven Spielberg. You are not going to win the educational video Oscar with this video you're going to create today, all right? But who knows, right? In a year or two, maybe you will, All right. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is when you are shooting your video, always keep your goal in mind, right? What Jennifer said was shoot for the edit. Just make sure that you're staying focused on your goal, and I think you'll have fun. Now, before I let you guys go to shoot your video, when you are done shooting your video, we're going to need you to load it up to Kaltura. Now, and that's so that the next session is going to be dealing with some of the Kaltura stuff. So it'd be nice if you had a video loaded that you could use. So we will, as Yvonne said, the tech team is going to be here to help you out. So when you have shot your video, we're going to stay in this room. So if you have questions, you can hop back into the room. And when you start trying to upload to Kaltura, we're also here for that. You do need to set Kaltura up on your computer first before you're able to upload videos. Although I did use, and well, I'll run through that first. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So to do that, right, you're going to go on the base navigation page in Blackboard. You're going to click the Tools tab. You're going to click here on Kaltura My Media. Okay, that is going to take you to this My Media page. And to upload your video, you're going to click on this Add New and select Media Upload. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to take you to, in this case, because I did this on my computer, I would choose my video from my hard drive, and I would upload it this way. You can also, the way I did this yesterday was, since I was shooting on my video, oh, and you have to name it. Since I was shooting on my phone, I use this KMS Go app. That was nice, but you will have to go to the App Store or the Play Store and download it. Once you have it downloaded, you can log in with your NIU credentials, and then it's really fairly easy to upload from your phone then to your media library. It's pretty well seamless, but it does take a little bit of time. Generally speaking, it takes about as long to upload your video as it did to shoot it. So if you have a 2-minute video, it's going to take a couple minutes to upload. But as I said, the tech squad is going to be here to help you. So if you need, have questions or need help uploading your video or have questions while you're shooting your video, make sure you hop back into this room. Another thing too, I forgot to mention, because we're going to be using Kaltura, the editing in Kaltura is limited. It does not allow you to move clips around, so you are going to have to shoot in sequence. Not a big deal. Like I said, we're just trying to learn here, so go ahead. You know, if you make a mistake while you're shooting your video, just stop, give the video a second or two to run, and start talking again, because in Kaltura, we're going to go in and we can take out that bad section and move your video together. All right. So with that, we're going to let you go out, go forth and video. Please return here at 1:50 so we can have a brief discussion. Myself and the CITL Nerd Squad will be here to provide support for you. And I've also got this link down here. I will post it in the chat too. If you need help setting up Kaltura, we have a lot of resources on our NIU Kaltura website that can help you get going too.